I'd like to start off by saying Shabbat Shalom. All praises to the Most High, Ahaya. I'd like to thank him for another evening to be able to bring the lesson. I know the last couple of Sabbaths we've been going in on the laws. But tonight we're going to touch kind of on not what's going on, but what's to happen here soon. Don't nobody know the time or the date. Go ahead.
I just didn't see that.
No, I didn't. Somebody went inside a Planned Parenthood in Colorado and shot it up. Anybody get killed?
One officer.
One officer. And there's like 9 people.
9 injured, 1 killed in Colorado Planned Parenthood facility. And that's tonight's lesson will be called End Times. There will be a part 1 and a part 2 to this lesson. And that's kind of why I want to go over this tonight, because you have so much going on. So much going on in the world today, to where the world is consumed by evil. And the evil has taken over. It's not taken over. It has taken over. So therefore, we are in the last days. And a lot of people's question is, well, when is the last days? Or when is the Messiah coming? Don't nobody know when the Messiah is coming. Don't nobody even know when the destruction is for America. Yeah, we try to go off of signs that we see and different things we read and hear about, and we try to play with that, but don't nobody really know the day or the time that any of these things are going to happen. So therefore, all we can do is just get ready and prepare ourselves, so that way when that day does finally arrive, your spirit will be at ease with the Most High, and you'll be sitting on the right side. That's honestly, that's the only thing you can do. You can't keep asking, well, when is it going to happen, or what do I do? Or the only thing you can do is continue to get yourself together and make yourself right before the Most High. That way, when anything does happen, you'll already be sitting on the right side. You can't wait until the last moment. So today we're going to go into some scriptures on how things will look in the end days. So tonight's lesson is called End of Times, and this is part 1. We're going to start off in the Apocrypha. And when you look at a lot of things that's going on worldwide, you just really can't put your finger on none of this stuff that happened. You don't know if it's a lie. You don't know if it's truth behind these things that are going on. Like what happened in France and what's still going on in France. It's sad that nowadays you can't even put your finger on it and say, well, did that really happen? Or was it a lie? Was it a false flag that the New World Order, which is the Illuminati and the Bilderbergers and all these guys, is that something that they plan to put the world into fear. So now we're living in times where you have a lot of deceivement going on, and deceivement is going on off the credit of lives. The government says, all right, well, I'm going to deceive the world in this matter, but I'm going to do it by taking lives. I'm going to scare the people into my hands, and I'm going to do it by taking lives. So now they are using war tactics on the people to scare everybody else into their arms. So overall, it's a major deceivement when it comes to anything that's going on. So you don't know who to trust or what to do in these times. So like I said in the beginning, only thing you can do is get yourself together. Let's go to 2nd Esdras, chapter 4. Tonight we're going to start off in 2nd Esdras, chapter 4. And it reads, "And the angel that was sent unto me, whose name was Ariel, gave me an answer and said," Uriel gave me an answer and said, "Thy heart has gone too far in this world, and thinkest to be comprehended the way of the Most High." So the answer of the angel, he says, your heart has gone too far into this world. Means you have done way too much to where you are already tied into this world. You people have done so much and still do so much to where you're already tied to this world. And that's what we don't understand as people. You think you're doing the ways of the Most High just because you have woken up and found some truth, and now you have a backpack that you walk around with some books in it, or now that you wrap your head as a woman who says she's virtuous, doesn't mean that you're not too far into this world. See, this is where the deceivement come in on our end. So many people say, yeah, I'm in the truth. Yeah, I'm following the Most High. Are you really? Do you really self-evaluate yourself on a daily basis to make sure you're doing what the Messiah would do? Just because you watch a lesson every now and then, and just because you read a scripture every now and then, does not mean you are not this person with the heart that has gone too far into this world. Let me read it again, verse 2. "And said, Thy heart has gone too far into this world, and thinkest thou to comprehend the way of the Most High." So you are so far in this world, but yet you think you're doing the ways of the Most High. That's what it means when it says, "And thinkest thou to comprehend the way of the Most High." So many people think they're doing the ways of the Most High, but you've already gone too far. It's almost impossible for you to even do the Most High. Why is that? Because you don't want to let go of the worldly things. So until you let go of all worldly things, you have gone too far, and you can't even comprehend the ways of the Most High. The only way you can comprehend the ways of the Most High is by giving up the worldly things. And I know it's a hard struggle. I know people are struggling with certain things that they know they shouldn't be doing. But hey, guess what? That don't got nothing to do with the Most High. If you're one of those people that still do worldly things and you know it's worldly and you're still doing it, shame on you. Verse 3. "Then said I, Yea, my power. And he answered me and said, I am sent to show thee 3 ways, and to set forth 3 similitudes before thee, whereof if thou canst declare me one, I will shew thee also the way that thou desirest to see. And I shall shew thee from whence the wicked heart cometh. So I'm going to show you how you have a wicked heart. I'm going to show you how you are too far into this world. That's what he said. I'm going to show you where your wicked heart is coming from. I'm going to show you the ways that you are doing to reveal the wicked heart. Verse 5. 2nd Esdras chapter 4 verse 5. And I said, tell on my power. So go ahead, speak on. Then said he unto me, go thy way, weigh me the weight of the fire, or measure me the blast of the wind, or call me again the day that is past. Then answered I and said, what man is able to do that thou shouldest ask such thing of me? So he says, basically, tell me everything you've done. Tell me the weight of the fire, the measure of the blast of the wind, he says, and the things that's in the past. He said, what man can do such? Verse 7. And he said unto me, if I should ask thee how great dwellings are in the midst of thy sea, or how many springs are in the beginning of the deep, or how many springs are above the firmament, or which are the outgoings of paradise, peradventure thou wouldest say unto me, I never went down into the deep, nor as yet into hell, neither did I ever climb up into heaven. So the question is, can you show me the beginning of the deep? How many springs above the firmament? Or which are the outgoings of paradise? And his answer was, I've never been down into the deep, which is hell, neither have I ever been into heaven. So the question is, show me the springs above in the firmament and show me the outgoings of paradise. So this precept right here alone shows you that paradise is in heaven. In hell. And a lot of people try to say, no, it's not. Paradise is Abraham's bosom, which is in hell. And we talk about that all the time. So here goes another precept that will validate that paradise is in hell. And then climb up into heaven is talking about the firmament. So 2 different sections. Paradise is Abraham's bosom, which is in hell, and the firmament, which is in heaven, verse 9. 2nd Esdras chapter 4, verse 9. Nevertheless, now have I asked thee but only of the fire and wind, and of the day wherethrough thou hast passed, and of things from which thou canst not be separated. And yet, canst thou give me an answer of them? He says, so these things that you went through the past cannot be separated from these things. All right? So you remember, he says, I'm going to show you the wicked of the heart. All right? How you walk in the ways of this world. And we all have been shown different ways and different things and got accustomed to things in this world. And now that you've woken up to the most higher, you still have a hard time walking away from those things. You still have a hard time separating yourself from the wickedness of this world. But then yet, you still run out there and say you are a child of the Most High, but then yet you are still doing wicked things. You have to separate yourself of all of them. Verse 10. He said, moreover unto me, thine own things and such as are growing up with thee, canst thou not know? How should thy vessel then be able to comprehend the way of the highest? And the world being now outwardly corrupted, to understand the corruption that is evident in my sight. So it says, how should the vessel then be able to comprehend the way of the Most High? We are vessels. We as individuals are vessels of the Most High. We're to do His work. We're to wake up and do His work. But the question is, how should thy vessel then be able to comprehend the ways of the Most High? How can you do the ways of the Most High? And the world being now outwardly corrupted, to understand the corruption that is evident in my sight. So when you are part of this world and you're doing worldly things, it's hard for you to even comprehend and understand the corruption that you are even a part of. It's hard for people to pull away and say, hey, I'm living a corrupt life when I do those things. Because you don't know how to separate yourselves from those things. So since you can't separate yourselves, you are a part of that. And you can't even understand that it is evident that the corruption is right before your eyes. Verse 12. Second Esdras, chapter 4, verse 12. Then said I unto him, it were better that we were not at all. Is it better that we wasn't born at all to not be a part of this corruption? That's what he said. Then that we should live still in wickedness, and to suffer, and not to know whereof. So it said, is it better that we wasn't alive at all to not even be a part of the wickedness, that we don't even realize we're suffering? People are suffering through corruption and wickedness and don't even know. You don't even know the way you live and the things you do on a daily basis is corrupting your life. How can you comprehend the ways of the Most High if you can't completely separate yourself from this world? All right. Let's skip down to verse 24. So we just read that first part to where he says, I'm going to show you where the wicked heart comes from. This is what we just read. Remember in verse 4, he says, I'm going to show you where your wicked heart comes from. And then he explained through these precepts that we just read, the wicked heart comes from the learnings of this world that you've been taught. And the learnings of this world that you've been taught, you can't even separate yourself from all of it. See, and that's the thing. We wake up to the truth, and we might separate ourselves from some of it, but then we still have some that we hold on to. That's the wickedness of the heart that he's talking about. In order to get rid of the wickedness of the heart, you must purify your spirit by getting away from all of it. Now, if you have a wife or wives, if you have a husband, and you're doing everything you can to separate yourself from the wicked ways that you were taught, but then your significant other is not ready at that time to separate themselves, you're going to have a problem. What's the problem? The problem is, and so say I'm ready to separate myself from all the wickedness. I vow to the Most High, I say I'm done with that, I'm done with that, I'm done with that. But then I have a wife that's in my house, and she's not done with that. And then if I don't put my foot down and say, no, we're both done with that, and I continue to allow her to participate in the wicked things, guess what? My journey of the unwicked is going to be a short journey. Why? Because as long as it's inside the household, I'm going to revert back to those wicked ways also. Even though I went and made a vow to the Most High and said, I'm done with that, I'm done with that, I'm done with that. But if my wife is still continuing to walk in those wicked ways, eventually I am going to walk back in those same ways because she's my wife and she's in my house. She's going to pull me back into those wicked ways the same way Eve did Adam. Both sides have to be holy. Both sides have to pure the wickedness. Once you pure the wickedness on both sides, now you can pure the house. But as long as there's wickedness on one side or the other, the wickedness is going to corrupt the whole body. Second Esdras chapter 4, verse 24. And I'm saying this because it's hard when you wake up to the truth. It's hard if a man wakes up to the truth, then he tries to go show his wife, and now getting her on the same page as him, or vice versa. If the woman wakes up to the truth, now she's trying to get the husband on the same page. It's just a hard task. It's still going to be corruption in the house because it hasn't happened the correct way. Let's read something real fast. Let's go to Wisdom of Solomon. And let's go to Wisdom of Solomon, chapter, let's see, chapter 7, verse 25. Hold your spot in Second Esdras. Let me just show you something real fast, since we're in the Apocrypha. Go to Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 7, verse 25. And it says, for she is the breath of the power of the Most High. So we know we're talking about Rawak right here. Wisdom. For she is the breath of the power of the Most High, and a pure influence flowing from the glory of the Almighty. Therefore can no undefiled thing fall into her. So it says she is the influence flowing from the Most High. So wisdom, she is an influence of the Most High. She's the same way he is. So same thing as a wife in the household. The wife in the household, she should be an image of her husband, if she's been taught correctly. So if her husband is a humble person, patient, she should be humble. She should be patient. Now if the husband is always stressing about things, cussing, losing his mind, evil spirit, then hey, I can see why she has an evil spirit. But if the husband is humble, not many things bother him, patient, he has faith, he's like, hey, you know what, I'm doing everything I could be righteous. The wife needs to be in the same type of influence. He has that influence on her, his spirit, to where she is the same way. It can't be opposite. A man can't be or a woman can't be a certain way, but then the husband's the other way. You have to be a spitting image of each other. Why? Let's finish reading. Verse 26. For she is the brightness of the everlasting light, the unspotted mirror of the power of the Most High, and the image of his goodness. So wives are supposed to be the image of the goodness of their husband. The same thing he is. Alright? It can't be different spirits. So wives, if you have a righteous husband, then you need to ask yourself, am I a spitting image of him? Do I act like him? When he sacrifices things and wants to walk in the ways of the Most High, am I right behind him, or am I a fight? Women, you are the crown of your husband's head. So if your husband comes in one day and say, hey, I'm sacrificing this, I'm giving this up, you should be right behind him saying, okay, babe, I've been waiting on you to do that. Not no, well, I don't know. It's going to be hard for me to do that. What do you mean? You are a spitting image of who your husband is and what he's trying to be, whether you like it or not. So if your husband comes in the house and says, I'm no longer eating meat because of this, and because of the blood, then you have to say, you know what, babe, I'm right behind you. Yeah, I love meat, but you know what? You're giving it up for a reason. I'm with you. It can't be split households. You have to be a spitting image of each other in order for it to work. Go back to Second Esdras, chapter 4, verse 24. And it reads, and we pass away out of the world as grasshoppers, and our life is an astonishment and fear, and we are not worthy to obtain mercy. So it says we have passed away out of the world as grasshoppers, and we live in fear by the government. What will he then do unto his name, whereby we are called? Of these things have I asked. Then answered he me and said, the more thou searchest, the more thou shalt marvel. For the world hasteth fast to pass away, and cannot comprehend the things that are promised to the righteous in the time to come. So people can't even comprehend what is to come for the righteous people, because we are living in a world that is running fast to pass away. This world is fast to pass away because of the evil. It is about to pass away really quick because of the evil that's happening. So since it's going so fast, people can't even comprehend the things that was promised to the righteous people, which is the kingdom. So many people, people can't even comprehend what the kingdom is like. People can't even comprehend what salvation is like. Those are the things that are to come. Why? Because they are living in an evil world that is passing so fast. Middle of verse 27. For this world is full of unrighteousness and infirmities. But as concerning the things whereof thou askest me, I will tell thee. For the evil is showing, but the destruction thereof is not yet come. So we're talking about the end times. He tells him the end time has not yet come, but the destruction has not yet come, but the evil is showing. So he's showing you that we have to see a great big evil come first in this world before the end time. So a lot of people say, well, when is the end time? Don't nobody know the exact time. Don't nobody know the exact date. But what we're reading right here says you have to see a great evil first before the destruction comes. And that's what we're seeing right now. Throughout the whole world, we see great evil. More evil than you seen when you was in elementary school, right? Mm-hmm. More evil you seen when you was in junior high. More evil you seen even when you was in high school. So it's getting worse. It's getting worse. It's getting worse. So let us know that the evil is at an all-time great. Let me read it again. But as concerning the things whereof thou askest me, I will tell thee. For the evil is sowing. The evil is sowing. It's getting worse. But the destruction thereof is not yet come. Alright. Verse 29. 2nd Esdras chapter 4. Verse 29. If therefore that which is sowing be not turned upside down. So the evil that is being sown, if it is not turned upside down, if it doesn't stop, and if the place where the evil is sown passes not away, then cannot it come that is sowing with good. You can't mix good with evil. If we don't hurry up and get rid of this evil and turn it upside down, you can't put the good with the evil. For the grain of evil seed had been sown in the heart of Adam from the beginning, and how much ungodliness had it brought up unto this time, and how much shall it yet bring forth until the time of the threshing come. So it says the evil that Adam brought in by eating of the tree has been building from then until now, and is only going to build from now until the end of the time of the Messiah. 31. Ponder now by thyself how great fruit of wickedness the grain of evil seed had brought forth. And when the ears shall be cut down, which are without number, how great a floor shall they fill? So it says, a great fruit of wickedness, the grain of evil seed, it brought forth a great evil. All right? Which is bigger than you can imagine. How great fruit of wickedness the grain of evil seed have brought forth. Evil's everywhere. Is the seed of evil is grown everywhere. Verse 33. Then I answered and said, how and when shall these things come to pass? Wherefore are our years few and evil? So it says, when shall these things come to pass? This is the question. And he answered me, saying, do not thou hastest above the Most High, for thy haste is in vain to be above him, for thou hast much exceeding. Verse 35. Did not the souls also of the righteous ask questions of these things in their chambers, saying, how long shall I hope on this fashion, when cometh the fruit of the floors of our reward? And unto these things Uriel the archangel gave them answer, and said, even when the number of seeds is filled in you, for he had weighed the world in the balance. So he says, the question is when is this time going to come to pass? And Uriel's answer says, even when the number of seeds is filled in you, for he had weighed the world in the balance. So the world has already been weighed in the balance of the seeds. You have the evil seeds, all right, and then you have the righteous seeds. But once the world gets to a point of so many evil seeds, that's when the time is going to come to pass. And we're at that point. We're at that point. It's telling you right here, when the world is filled with a balance, a weighed balance of evil seeds, then that's when time is going to come to pass. Verse 37. By measure had he measured the times, and by number had he numbered the times, and he doeth not move nor stir them until the said measure be fulfilled. So the Most High is not going to allow the end of time to come until the evil seed has been fulfilled. All right? And that's the time we're living in. That's why you see so much evil. People are like, why is there so much evil happening? Because the evil has to come to pass. It has to happen. All the evil seeds has to be planted. That's what gives the Most High the reason to send his son back down here and say enough. If there was, you have to understand, if there was no evil, everything all of a sudden just became joy this, joy that, righteous this, everybody's following the law, there's no reason to send the Messiah. But what we just read, he says, there is a weighed number, a measure of evil seeds that has to happen in this world in order for the time to come to pass. And in our time, that's why I say, from elementary school, from junior high, from high school, even being an adult to now, you see so much evil occur. And it's getting worse and worse. Every year that go by, every month we just shaking our head like, wow, are you serious? They passed that? Wow, are you serious? So it's building up. It's building up. That measure of number is getting to that weight that the Most High is saying, all right, that's it. That's the weight. Enough is enough. Okay? So now, let's get into some scriptures. Let's go to 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 3. 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 3. So now that we know, so that's how you judge it. So you start asking questions, well, when is the end time coming? You just continue to look at all the evil that's hitting the world. Every time another great big evil hit the world, then you say, all right, that just made that weight a little heavier. Then another great evil hit the world, you say, well, it's getting heavier and heavier. Sooner or later, it's going to hit that weight that he said. We don't know what the weight that he measured it out to be for time to come to pass. All right? So the end is not to be expected instantly. So a lot of people think when the end comes, it's going to happen instantly. when the end comes, it's not going to happen instantly. Why? Because there are still signs that has to come to pass. We still have to see so many things. That's how the end won't happen instantly. If you follow the scriptures and through the prophecy of scriptures, certain signs will come to pass, and then that's how you know the end is getting nearer. 2 Thessalonians 2 and 3 reads, "Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come." So don't let nobody tell you that day is not coming. Except there come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition. So it says the falling away has to come first. These are one of the signs that we have to see first before the end time comes. Satan has to be revealed. Satan as a man has to be revealed first. And once he starts being revealed, then we know the end time is coming. Verse 4. "Who opposes and exalted himself above all that is called a higher, or that is worship, so that he as God sitteth in the temple of God, showing himself that he is a higher. Remember ye not that when I was yet with you, I told you these things. And now ye know that withhold it, that ye might be revealed in his time. For the mystery of the iniquity doeth already work. Only he who knoweth will let, until he be taken out of the way." So Satan has to be revealed. And not only does Satan have to be revealed, Satan has to be taken out of the way. Okay? Let's go to Colossians 2 and 3. So, certain things that has to come to pass. One is the man of sin, which is son of perdition, has to be revealed. All right? And guess what? We're starting to reveal the ugly head of Satan through the truth. Through the truth, now that we're not deceived and duped with all these lies, now that we're waking up to the truth, we're starting to reveal Satan to people. The people that's in the truth, the more we go out, just like yesterday for the Thanksgiving, you're revealing the evil ways of Satan. So the more and the more we reveal Satan, so that's what you have to understand the revealing is going to be. We're revealing his evil ways to where people are not duped anymore. Alright? It ain't going to be all of a sudden, one day we're going to wake up and there's going to be a big old red face in the sky with the horns and Satan is chained up. And we're like, oh, he's being revealed. Oh, nah, people don't be waiting on that. That's not going to happen. Satan being revealed is us shewing the lies that he has the world walking in. Showing people the lies through these religions. Showing people the lies through these holidays. That's revealing him. Okay? And then we start taking him out of the way. The more people that wake up and start following after this world and start following after the Most High and his laws, now we're taking Satan out of the way. Colossians 2 and 3 reads, "In whom are hid all the treasures of wisdom and knowledge." So the Most High says, the chosen people that wake up, this is talking to the chosen people, once you wake up, you're going to find all the hidden treasures of wisdom and knowledge that Satan hid from you. Satan hid this from you for a certain reason. Why? Because he didn't want you to be able to comprehend the ways of the Most High. Remember, we just read that in 2nd Esdras. Satan didn't want you to comprehend the ways of the Most High, so he hid the truth by revealing a lie to you, by revealing a fantasy world to you. Be all that you can be, the American dream. He revealed a fantasy world to you and got you chasing after this fantasy world to where you don't even know the treasures that was given to you generations ago. And what's the treasure the wisdom and the knowledge, in whom are hid all the treasures of wisdom and knowledge. Let's break down the word hid right there. The word hid is G614. G614. And is apocryphus, which is APOKRUPHOS. So the word basically said apocrypha. And this is why we read out of the apocrypha, because it's the scriptures that was hidden from the Bible. And through this apocrypha, it has a bunch of treasure, hidden treasure, wisdom and knowledge that a lot of people don't even know about. 2 Thessalonians 2:8. So that's why we go, oh, let me give you so the apocrypha 6 and 14 means secret, by implication, treasure, hid, kept, secret. So a hidden, kept secret is what the apocrypha means. Alright? 2 Thessalonians 2:8. And then shall the wicked be revealed, whom the Most High shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. So it says, like I said earlier, so when the wicked is revealed, so when Satan is revealed, he will be consumed by the spirit of the mouth of the Most High. What's the spirit of the mouth of the Most High? Us. Us coming out and speaking this truth and hidden and breaking Satan down and telling people how Satan is a lie, showing people how Satan is a lie. That's consuming Satan by the mouth of the spirit of the Most High. Let me read it again. And then shall the wicked be revealed. He's going to be revealed how? Whom the Most High shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy the brightness of his coming. So as long as you continue to wake up and go out and teach and talk and walk in the ways of the Most High, we will continue to reveal who Satan is. And now, not only do we reveal who Satan is, we teach people how to follow after the ways of the Most High. Follow the Most High's holy days and not holidays. Follow the Most High's laws and not the government laws. Now we can take Satan out of the way. Verse 9. Even him whose coming is after the working of Satan with all power and signs and lying and wonders, and with all deceivableness of unrighteousness in them that perish, because they receive not the love of the truth, that they might be saved. So a lot of people is not receiving the love of the truth to be saved. And that's why you tell people all the time, listen, the truth shall set you free. John 8:32 says the truth shall set you free. And if you don't know the truth, and if you're not following the truth, you cannot be saved. But if you keep following after this world, which is lying wonders, all right, lying to you, unrighteousness, those are the ways, the works of Satan. But if you follow after the truth of these scriptures, the truth of these holy days, then you can be saved. Let's go back to 2nd Esdras. 2nd Esdras chapter 14. 2nd Esdras chapter 14, verse 13. Second Esdras 14 and 13. And it reads, Now therefore set thine house in order, and reprove thy people. Confront such of them as be in trouble, and now renounce corruption. So just like I said, in order to reveal who Satan is, we have to go out and confront these people who are walking in corruption. We have to reprove them. How do we reprove them? By confronting them. Let me read it again. Now therefore set thine house in order. So how do you set your house in order? By going out and reproving thy people. Comfort such of them as be in trouble. And now renounce corruption. So you have to go out and announce corruption. Let people know that they're living in corrupt ways. All right? And this is how you put your house in order. Verse 14. Let go fro the mortal thoughts. Cast away the burdens of man. Put off now the weak nature. The weak nature means don't walk after these emotional ways and different things that you've been taught to do in the flesh. Here in America, you're worried about stress, bills. You're stressing about bills. That's an emotion. When you're stressing about this, stressing about that, letting different things bother you, it's an emotion. It's a weak nature. When you let simple little things bother you, it's a weak nature. If something bothers you, or if someone bothers you, if somebody does something that bothers you, go to that brother and say something. Don't let it bother you. Don't let it sit there and build up. Oh, I'm bothered by what Brother Ed did. That bothers me. And you let it build up. And you let it build up. And it becomes just hideous. It's a weak nature. Instead of going to the brother and say, hey, you know what? The other day, I was a little bothered when such and such happened. And, man, I just didn't really know how to handle it. But now I'm bringing it to you because I don't want it to be an issue. But we've been taught here in America to be bothered by things with each other and hold a grudge. And we're going to talk about that later on. If you hold a grudge towards one another, what it does to your spirit. We're going to talk about that. 2 Esdras chapter 14, verse 14. Let go fro the mortal thoughts. Cast away the burdens of man. Put off now the weak nature. And set aside the thoughts that are most heavy unto thee, and haste thee to flee from these times. It says, so set aside the thoughts that are most heavy to thee. So the thoughts that should be heavy to you is salvation and not doing wrong. Those are the things that are heavy on my mind. Every day that I wake up, the most heavy things that are on my brain is not to upset the Most High and is not to sin. That's heavy on my brain is not to mess up. Not to be worried about what another brother did to me or what another sister did to me. The heavy thoughts that are on my mind every day is how to not fall back into this corrupted world and how not to upset the Most High. Because we live in the world, as long as we're here in America, there's sin all around us. So those are heavy thoughts on my brain, how not to fall back into that world and do those sins. That's what it's saying right there. Verse 16. Verse 16. For yet greater evils than those which thou hast seen happen shall be done hereafter. So there's going to be greater evils done here on. The things that we've seen, there's going to be more evil to come, and it's going to be greater. For look how much the world shall be weaker through age, so much more shall evils increase upon them that dwell therein. So it tells you the more you age, the more evil is going to come. The older you get, the more evil is going to come. And that's what you're seeing. The older you get, the more and more evil this world becomes. Let me read it again. For yet greater evils than those which thou hast seen. Verse 17. For look how much the world shall be weaker through age. So the older the world gets, the weaker it gets because of all the evil that's here. So much the more shall evils increase upon them that dwell therein. So the older you get, the more evils that's going to increase upon you and around you. Verse 18. For the truth is fled far away. So the truth has fled far away. People don't even have a clue what the truth is. And leasing is hard at hand. For now hastens the vision to come, which thou hast seen. So isn't this the world we live in? Truth is nowhere around. That's what it just said. For the truth is fled far away. So we're talking about the end times. We're living in these times. The end times, the evil is getting bigger. It's increasing the older you get. And the truth, when you look at people and you go talk to people, has fled far away. You can't even go talk to somebody about the truth. They don't want to hear it. You can go to somebody right now in your family and start talking to them about how the different signs in the world is coming and happening, and how the end of the world is approaching soon because of all these evil times. And they gonna look at you and be like, I don't want to hear that. They don't want to hear it. They don't want to hear the truth. And in order for you to be saved, you have to know this. In order for you to be saved, you have to know about the evils that is hitting this world and the evils that is going to increase in this world. Why? Because we just read earlier that the Most High has already weighed a measure of evil. And once it gets to that certain weight of evil, the end time comes. But if you don't want to hear about evil, you don't want to hear about the bad things going on in this world, how is your spirit going to be ready when that just weight hit? People will rather go to their church and hear their preacher talking about peace, this, and peace and love and this, and continue to pay their tithes to him, versus come around us and hear about these evil things that's about to come to pass. People don't want to have, they don't want to hear it, they don't want to have nothing to do with it. Let's go to James 5 and 7. But when we deal with these people, we have to have patience. When you deal with this world, you have to have patience. Because like I said earlier, once you wake up to the truth, and once you make a sacrifice on this, you make a sacrifice on that, you're going to have friends and family. You're even going to have your spouse that's in your own house that's going to test you spiritually. Your own wife in your house is going to test you every now and then. Your own husband in your house is going to test you now and then. And you got to have patience. That's the sad thing about this. The moment you wake up to this truth, it's coming. And if you don't have patience, you're going to get pulled right back into the world. And that's what's so sad, because so many people, they're not strong enough to hold on. They give in. James 5 and 7 reads, be patient, therefore, brethren, until the coming of the Most High. Behold, the husband waited for the precious fruit of the earth, and had long patience for it, until he received the early and later rain. So it tells you that the husband, since he's the head of the house, he's to wait patiently for the precious fruit of the earth, for the righteousness. Alright? The precious fruit of the earth, which is the new earth that's to come. He's to wait patiently. Verse 8. Be ye also patient. Establish your hearts, for the coming of the Most High draweth nigh. So, like I said earlier, people say, well, when is the end time going to come? Or, well, how do we know when to be ready? Or what do we got to do? The only thing you can do is be ready. And how do you be ready? It's by being patient. You establish it in your hearts. Be ye also patient. Establish your hearts. Establish your hearts means stable your heart. Make it stable. Make it very stable. You can't be going back and forth. I'm in the flesh. I'm in the spirit. I'm in the flesh. I'm in the spirit. No. It's got to be one way or the other. Alright? For the coming of the Most High draweth nigh. It's coming clear. Verse 9. James chapter 5, verse 9. Grudge not one against another, brother, lest ye be condemned. Behold, the judge standeth before the door. So if you're sitting here wasting time grudging against each other over the littlest things. I was cool with the sister last week, but then on Wednesday she did something that teed me off. I'm going to hold this little old grudge. Most High said the judge is standing right at the door watching. You got a little grudge all of a sudden? He's standing at the door watching. How do you prevent the grudge towards your brother? How do you prevent the grudge towards your sister? By being patient and establish your hearts. Fix your hearts to where it's settled. Make firm. Make your heart base to where it's not weak. We just read earlier to where it says you live after the weak nature. Don't live after the weak nature. Establish your heart to where your heart is base. You need this. Because you don't know the day when the Most High is going to draw nigh, when he's going to come. And if he come and you have that weak heart where you have a grudge towards somebody, or you got this evil towards somebody, you're not going to make it. You're not going to make it. And I see it. I see it all across the board. Even just with how we treat each other in the group. I see it. One moment, I see a few people cool with each other. Then a few weeks later, y'all don't even be talking to each other. And I'll be like, what's going on? Just a couple weeks ago, y'all was really cool. Now all of a sudden, it's like it hurts y'all to conversate with each other. Like y'all making yourselves conversate. Most High don't like it. Verse 10. James chapter 5 verse 10. Take my brethren, the prophets, who have spoken in the name of the Most High, for an example of suffering, affliction, and of patience. Behold, we count them happy which endure. Ye have heard of patience of Job, and have seen the end of the Most High, that the Most High is very pitiful and tender mercy, and of tender mercy. So it says we have to endure. When things are going on in life, don't take it out on your brother or your sister. Endure. But that's what we do. When something's going on in your circle, or something's going on in your household, you carry it out of the house and you bring it amongst other people, and they feel it and they see it. Somebody should never know that something's going wrong in your house, unless you're going to them to talk to them for some advice. But you shouldn't be at work or at a gathering to where people are like, dang, what's wrong with her? Or what's wrong with him? Because now you're just out and about, just showing your impatience. Endure. Endure the problems. Endure the afflictions. Endure the different things that are going on in your life, to where when you're around other people, you don't have grudges. You don't have problems. You can still be a righteous individual. 1 Peter 4 and 7 reads, 1 Peter 4 and 7. So we all know that the time of the Most High is at hand. We don't know when, we don't know where, but we can feel it. We can feel that evil that I was talking about. And now that we're children of the Most High, we know that time is at hand. All right? And that's why I'm talking these scriptures tonight, so you can get yourself together. We're at a point right now, you guys, and I'm going to keep it real, to where y'all need to stop spending so much time seeking for knowledge this, knowledge that. Oh yeah, well I learned this, I learned that. You're seeking for all this knowledge. What good is all that knowledge that you're seeking and learning if you can't change your ways? If you can't change your inside, what good is all this knowledge you're learning? People need to stop right now and start working on their insides first, instead of changing the outside with all this knowledge. And you know, I heard something earlier this week that's it's got me really bothered. I've been so bothered the last couple of days at work. I can't even fathom it. And you know, we, over the last couple of years, we have adapted to this truth music. And there's a lot of people, brothers, sisters, that's in this truth music. And majority of it is rap. And I heard the brother KG say a couple weeks ago, why we don't have many R&B singers in this truth? And that's true. It's like every female that wakes up in the truth, they want to rap. Well, some of you sisters go sing. But I heard something earlier this week that troubled me. We now have so many favorite people that we like in this truth music. Everybody has their favorites. And now all of a sudden over the last few weeks, we have brothers that have woken up to this truth music, learned all this knowledge, learned all these things, that are now turning against each other on the truth music, on the truth, and revealing it through their music. I'm like, are you serious? And how is this even possible? It's possible because they went out and they learned all this knowledge, gathered all this information, but didn't change the inside of themselves, didn't change. Like the stuff we're talking about tonight, they didn't do it. They didn't change. So the moment something evil or something bad happened, it was easy for them to go off on the ways that they've been taught in America. For example, Shad. People know who Shad is, right? He does rap music. And then Young Peasy. These brothers are on a couple of songs with Bronx. All of a sudden, the last couple of weeks, these brothers are putting out songs talking about, I'm going to put you in the trunk. And I don't even know. Brother James, are you there? Brother James?
Yes, I'm here.
What am I looking for? What is the song?
The song is,
How does the verse go? Put them in the trunk and what?
the song is like something changing, taking something, but it is put it in the trunk.
It's called something, put them in the trunk. I'm going to put you in the trunk and do something else to you.
Just he's still yelling real beautiful.
And at the same time, he in the background yelling real Judah, but he's talking about putting somebody in the trunk and doing stuff to him. All right. And then these brothers even came out with a song basically putting Elder Bacart on blast, talking about they're not going to follow him because they don't want to go to hell. So now these brothers have gotten an evil heart to where they got this grudge now towards certain brothers, and they're bringing out evil, but yet trying to comprehend it as the ways of the Most High. What we just read earlier. What Ezra said, I'm going to show you the wicked way of the heart, which you try to comprehend as the ways of the Most High. And that's what these brothers are doing all of a sudden. Why? Because they haven't been taught the right way. And that's why I take so much time to try to teach you guys, this group, how to change your ways inside. All that knowledge and learning all that other stuff, yeah, it's a bonus. It's good. But you need to learn how to change who you are as a person and learn how to follow after the ways of the Most High. That way, when an affliction and different things happen to you, you can endure. You won't revert back to those ways. And see, and these brothers, Young Peasy and Shad and them, they was in the truth music, truth this, and then something happened to them to where they couldn't endure. They couldn't endure what was happening. So then it made them revert back to their Babylon ways. And now it's showing in their music. Now, I'm not saying these brothers are bad people. They just wasn't taught the right way. If they was taught the right way when they came into this truth, something would have happened to them, something would have offended them to where they would have just said, all right, you know what? They would have hashed it out. They would have went to the brothers and said, hey, you offended me. And they would have worked it out versus, all right, now I'm going to make this track about putting this brother in the trunk, but then yet I'm still real Judah. Ahia. How you going to put Ahia in the same song after you just sung a hook about putting somebody in the trunk? So they haven't been taught the right way. And see, that's the problem with Israel. Israel has learned the wrong way when it's come to this truth. Everybody on Facebook, Everybody on YouTube, they've been learning. Oh, I need to learn all this knowledge. I learned my history. I learned this. I know who I am now. I'm unstoppable. No. Have you changed? Have you made some sacrifices? Have you given up some things? Have you put them hats away? Have you put them jeans away? So it's a big difference in what we do on our end than what a lot of other groups do. A lot of other groups, they feed off of knowledge and truth and this and that versus changing who they are as individuals. 1 Peter 4:7 reads, "But the end of all things is at hand. Be ye therefore sober and watch unto prayer." So it says, but the end of all things is at hand, and be ye therefore sober. What does that mean? You have to be sober and you have to be sober to understand what's about to happen. So you can't be taking every night getting drunk, where you're in a whole nother state of mind. You can't be taking every other night getting high. If you're high every night and you're drunk every night, you will not be ready for the end times. That's just real talk. This is what the scriptures say. Let me break down the word sober. The word sober is G 4993. Sober is G 4993. And it is sophronio. Sophronio. And it's SOPHRONEO. Sophronio. And it means to be of sound mind, moderate, be in the right mind. To be of sound mind, sane, moderate, be in right mind. All right? So it's telling you to be moderate. What's moderate? Let me give you the Webster definition for moderate. So people say, well, it's telling me to be moderate. What does moderate mean? Moderate in the Webster definition means limited. So it starts off with limited. Restrain. So it's telling you to be limited, and it's telling you to restrain. Restrain from what? Observing reasonable bounds in indulgence, in eating or drinking, in other gratifications. So moderate means limit yourself or restrain yourself from indulging yourself in eating certain things, drinking certain things, or other gratifications. Other gratification is pills and drugs and all that other stuff. So if you're going to be sober mind, it's telling you to be moderate. Restrain yourself from all these things. 1 Peter 4:7 says, but the end of all things is at hand. So the end is at hand. Be ye therefore sober and watching to prayer. So we need to be watching and praying every night versus drinking and taking drugs. Verse 8. And above all things, have fervent charity among yourselves. Charity is love. So among each other, you should have love for one another versus grudging towards one another. For charity shall cover the multitude of sins. So love will cover the multitude of sins. So if you love your brother, you love your sister, you're doing things in the rightful manner, it will cover the multitude of your evil works. See, when you have grudges toward each other, you have a problem, you have this, you got impatience, that's sin. Let me read it, let me say it again. When you got grudges towards each other, I'm impatient with this person, I got towards this person, that's a sin. But when you have love, for charity shall cover the multitude of sins. So when you have love, it will cover all that evil heart. Verse 9. 1 Peter 4:9. Use hospitality one toward another without grudging. So if you're going to invite somebody over to your house, or if somebody come over to your house and you're going to have hospitality, you can't have a grudge towards them, but then yet still be trying to be with hospitality. How's somebody going to come over to your house and you're being cool with them, but then on the back end, you have this passive aggressive attitude about you that you don't really want them there? Or you have this passive aggressive attitude about, well, why is he here? Why is she here? Oh, yeah, oh, hey, what's up? Yeah, okay, you're being cool with them, but then you're really not. Use hospitality one to another without grudging. As every man had received the gift, even so minister the same one to another, as good stewards of the manifold grace of a higher. If any man speak, let him speak as the oracles of a higher. So if any person speak, let them speak the scriptures of a higher. If any man minister, let him do it as the ability which a higher giveth. So every man can't be like the next man. So if you want to wake up into the truth and then you want to go talk to people about the truth, you can't do it the same way somebody else does it. Everybody has their own gift. And wives, when you wake up to the truth, don't be pressing your husband to be like another man. If you see another man and he gives the truth and he does it this way and he does it this way, you can't be pressing your husband to get up and go be like him. And we had a sister that was in the group that used to do that. She would press her husband so tough, you need to get out and go be like Elder Ed. What you mean? That brother ain't ready to go do all that. And he would tell her. And she used to get mad. I feel like my soul ain't going to be saved because he ain't out teaching. It ain't his time yet. Middle of verse 11. That the Most High in all things may be glorified through Yeshua the Messiah, to whom be praise and dominion forever and ever. Beloved, think it not strange concerning the fiery trial which is to try you, as though some strange things happen unto you. So it tells you a lot of strange things are going to happen to you. You're going to be tried through your trials. Things are going to happen when you wake up to this truth and you start doing the works of the Most High and you start speaking the oracles of the Most High. Strange things will start happening to you. People will start acting certain ways toward you. Different things will start popping up. But endure. Endure. Alright? We get to the last few precepts of the night. So like I said, we're going to do a part 2 on this. Let's go to Revelations 1 and 3. Revelations 1 and 3. And it reads, Blessed is he that readeth, and they that hear the words of this prophecy, and keep those things which are written therein, for the time is at hand. So it's telling you that the time is at hand. And now that we know the time is getting closer, because we know the evil is growing. We already started the lesson off tonight by showing you that the Most High when this time comes to pass and the end times come, the weight of evil has to get to a certain level. And now that we know the evil all around us is getting there, it says, blessed is he that readeth, and that they hear the words of this prophecy. So you have to continue to read so you can understand the words of this prophecy, of this Bible. Alright? But, like I said earlier, the end time is not here yet. We still have to wait on things that needs to come to pass. But when the end time does come, the Messiah will not take his time. That's what you have to understand. When the end time finally does hit, he's coming. Alright? He's coming. Once all these things come to pass, he's coming. He ain't going to take his time. He's going to get here. So that's why you have to be girded in these scriptures. And that's why you have to be praying and keeping that hedge over your household. You have to be doing the things that you can do at all times so you can be that husband that's waiting for the precious fruit of the earth, like we read in James. So if you're that husband that's waiting, watching, reading, waiting, watching, praying, keeping the hedge over your house, now you can see the signs when they come. It's going to stick out like a sore thumb. But you have to keep your household ready. And that means you, that means your wife, and that means the kids. It has to be ready. Everything has to be ready. Because you don't want to be ready, and then all of a sudden the Messiah comes. Now your wife and your kids go to the left. Or you don't want to be ready, and then you get your wife ready, but then the kids are not ready. So then when the Messiah comes, you and her go to the right, but then the kids go to the left. I've said it for a while now. On Fridays, the kids should be involved in the lesson. I know Wednesdays is hard because they got to go to school on Thursdays. So you got them in bed a little early. But Friday, there is no reason that if you have a kid that can live here and they can speak and they understand and they can write, they need to be a part of these lessons. Because let me tell you something. You're saving your soul, but then you're leaving theirs out there to dry. I've said it time and time again. But how people run their households, that's how y'all run your households. Alright? But the kids need to be saved also. They need to be sitting right next to you when you're receiving this information on the Sabbath. Alright? Hebrews 10 and 37. I mean, everybody runs their household a little different. But that's a problem to me if the kids are not involved. Hebrews 10 and 37 reads, for yet a little while, and he that shall come will come, and will not tarry. So it says, for yet a little while, and he that shall come will come. The Messiah is going to come. And when he comes, he will not tarry. Tarry means he will not take his time. He's coming. Right? And the thing is, he's coming in our generation. It's going to happen in this generation. We already broke that down, the desolation of time, a few weeks ago. He's coming in this generation, you guys. Mark 13 and 29, we got 5 minutes left. But just to reiterate what I was saying about the kids, you guys. The kids need this information. Your house is not hedged up if it's just you that got this truth, or if it's just you and your wife. You and your wife getting the truth, but then the kids is in the room playing Xbox. Mark 13 and 29. So ye in like manner, when ye shall see these things come to pass, know that it is nigh, even at the doors. Verily I say unto you, that this generation shall not pass till all these things be done. It's talking about our generation. These things will not pass until all these things that we've been talking about be done. And that's why there's a part 2, because we're going to talk about other things that need to happen, that shall come to pass in order for the Most High to send his son down. Other things that need to come to pass. So we're talking about things that need to come to pass. Other things that need to come to pass. The word of Ahia must be taught to all nations. We already read that the truth has fled away far from everybody. So since the truth has fled away far from everybody through the lies and the deceits of Satan, now things that have to come to pass, the word of Ahia has to arise again and be taught to all nations. That has to happen. And once that starts happening, now you know you're in the end times. And guess what? It's been happening. It's been happening. 10 years ago, 15 years ago, did you see people talking about the word? No. You see people talking about religions. Even 5 years ago, 6 years ago, no. But now all of a sudden you see it. It's all around you. So that lets you know the end is coming near. Mark 13 and 30. The end is coming near. Just through this one prophecy alone. That the word of the Most High has to be pushed through all generations. That prophecy is coming to pass right before our eyes because the people are waking up. Mark 13 and 30 reads, Verily I say unto you, that this generation shall not pass. No, Mark 13 and 10, my fault. Mark 13 and 10. And it reads, And the gospel must first be published among all nations. So it's talking about the gospel that the Messiah taught the disciples. The gospel that he taught the disciples need to be first published among all the nations. So before the end can come, the gospel must first be published. So the Messiah is not going to come